Thursday afternoon, 2 p.m. That means 6 hours until America's national pastime, going on Twitter and saying mean things about Daniel Jones. Get excited for that. We're going to answer your starter sit questions. How many mean Daniel Jones tweets for you tonight, Chris? I'm going to go over under 2.5.
I like mean implies that there's something unfair about it. And that's where I think you get twisted, because like when a professional athlete trips over his own feet, actually, I didn't even really make fun of that when it happened. It was hilarious objectively, but like,
it's funny. Yeah.
I think you're lying to yourself if you're saying that has never happened to you, that you've just never tried to run too hard, gotten a little too top heavy in your momentum, and just kind of ate it.
I don't think I've done that. I don't recall doing that.
I did it at Bonnaroo once while I was running in the rain. I was wearing Crocs, as one does. It was raining, and just my feet went out from under me.
Schrager, professional athlete or college athlete?
I've had a practice where I thought I could make it past another guy, and it just happened to trip on my shoelaces.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, we're here to answer your questions. Before we answer your questions, Chris is going to answer some of my questions. Schrager can too. And we'll have Heath coming on in about 10 or 15 minutes to join the show. This week, I don't feel like there are the same types of tough calls that we had last week.
Well, we know more.
We do.
Or do we?
Anyway, that's just my thoughts. I feel like last week was a little more stressful. But who are some of your favorites this week? Who are some guys that you found yourself pretty high on in the rankings?
Oh, let me pull those up. You can't just spring these kind of questions on me. What am I supposed to expect that I'm going to be asked to talk about my rankings?
While Chris pulls those up, I'll say Antonio Brown. I was just talking to Adam about it. Antonio Brown versus Julio Jones. I think Antonio Brown's a top 20 receiver this week. I think he's going to go off, and I do think he'll end up being the best receiver on the Bucs. Not an overreaction from last week whatsoever.
I've got him ranked third, but he's a top 20 wide receiver for me. So I don't think he's 19th for me. All right, guys that I'm surprisingly high on. Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf are both top 8 wide receivers for me. Russell Wilson is number 3. So I'm very excited about the Seahawks. Amari Cooper's number 9. I don't know if that's a little overexcited yet, but I do think
it makes perfect sense. I mean, without Gallup there, that's going to be a shootout. But I don't know. I was thinking more in the
sure
flexi.
Yeah. I've got Corey Davis still as a top 25 wide receiver. I know there's a lot of concern about him with the Patriots, but this Bill Belichick takes your best player away. Woo, spooky. Okay, Stephon Diggs had 3 touchdowns against them in week 16 last year. Stephon Gilmore's not there. Let's not overreact. 2 different Dolphins wide receivers had 80+ yards against them last week. So yes, I think it's going to be a tough game for Zach Wilson, but I was really impressed by his ability to manage the pocket. He was under duress all game long, and Corey Davis still had a good game. I think Zach Wilson's very good at evading pressure. And Corey Davis, I think, is going to have another good game.
Okay, yeah, it is the whole rookie quarterback thing. I mean, I do sort of buy into that. Taking away your best player when it's a great player, I don't really care. But I'm nervous, but that's good. I'm glad you said that because you're going to be the Corey Davis defender here. Yeah. I think everybody's just a little bit worried about the Jets' offensive line, which was total trash last week.
Oh yeah, it's going to be bad. Yeah. And I've got DJ Chark up to 31. I was really worried about him coming into the season, but I loved the way that the Jaguars used him last week. Obviously, he had a couple of, I don't know if they were officially classified as drops, but certainly balls he should have come down with. Trevor Lawrence missed him on what very well could have been a second touchdown in that game. They've got to play better on both ends, but third in the NFL in air yards. I think Darren Waller did pass him on Monday night. Led the team in targets. I think DJ Chark is the number 1 wide receiver there, and it could be a very, very valuable role. So
we should talk about Josh Jacobs here because the news just breaking now. He's sitting again in practice with his toe injury and an ankle apparently. And if you have Kenyon Drake, where would you move Kenyon Drake to in the game against the Steelers. I mean, it's obviously a tough matchup here, but you could have close to an every down role for Kenyon Drake. Would he be a top 24 guy for you if Jacobs were out?
Yeah, I think he probably would be. I mean, I've got Drake actually already inside of my top 35 at running back, just because I think the passing game role is going to be pretty valuable for PPR. But if I was to project him for 14 carries, yeah, I think he'd probably end up being a top 24-ish running back.
All right, without any further ado, let's read your questions here. 2QB league, Trevor Lawrence or Zach Wilson?
Lawrence.
Would you sell high on Gronk with Tyler Higbee as your backup?
Yeah, Rob Gronkowski's value is likely to never be higher than this. Like, he could just have a, kind of classic Rob Gronkowski season, but he's fourth in the pecking order here. He's probably going to be a touchdown or bust guy, and Higbee played every snap in week 1.
Yeah, a good game. Kareem Hunt, Elijah Mitchell, Robert Woods, Gaskin, or Debo at PPR? Oh,
Robert Woods.
Yeah, it's Woods. Right? If it was just the running backs, it'd be kind of hard and even deep. But yeah, Robert Woods, you got
it would be Hunt over Mitchell for me.
Okay. And over Gaskin?
I missed him. Gaskin over Hunt, just slightly.
Okay. Fancy Heath.
Oh, look at him making us look bad.
Hey, Fancy Heath.
Fancy Heath. I've never been called Fancy Heath before. I've been called a lot of different things with Heath after it, but fancy is not one of the words that people have used.
All right.
Well, I think you're a fancy boy, Heath.
Thank you.
Thielen or McLaurin, PPR?
Oh, man. I think I have Thielen. Nope. McLaurin 2 spots higher. I guess I'll go with that.
I have McLaurin 2 spots higher as well. Chris, copy my paper.
Yep.
Pick 2 in PPR, Sterling Shepard, T. Higgins, Gaskin, Gordon, and Waddle.
Oh, boy. I think it would be
Gaskin for sure for me.
I think it might be the 2 Dolphins for me, which does not feel good.
No, that's
the tough thing, because Will Fuller was not at practice today.
Yeah.
If Will Fuller doesn't play, then it would be the 2 Dolphins for me. But you're not going to know that, and Shepard plays tonight. I think I'd probably just wait it out.
Why not?
Yeah, because
why not Higgins over Waddle?
I have Waddle ranked a little higher.
I'm a little bit concerned about Higgins' volume, because Jamar Chase looked like the number 1 that I thought he was going to be at, well, for most of the summer. Back in May and June and early July. And I don't think Tyler Boyd's volume is going to be that low consistently. So I'm a little bit worried about Higgins' volume.
Does Jamar Chase have the potential to be the biggest preseason overreaction in fantasy football history?
Well, I don't know.
I don't think so.
Marquez Callaway exists.
Yeah, that's a good point. I guess
they were being drafted pretty close to each other by the end.
It's not like he was a 3rd round pick. He's still a rookie. And
yeah, but Chase was going like the 5th in a lot of drafts.
He went from the 5th to the 7th. I think he moved 2 rounds because of the preseason, and he may end up justifying a 2nd.
All right, it's one game, but you're right. He might. But all right, let's see what else. What else? Would you start MVS over James Robinson? Would you start Emmanuel Sanders over Corey Davis?
This guy loves himself some ADOT and some air yards. He is both MVS and Emmanuel Sanders were top 10 in week 1 in air yards. I would go with both Robinson and Davis.
Sanders had a touchdown. Like, if Josh Allen doesn't overthrow him, what's that?
Yeah,
no. I'm just saying, like, if Josh Allen doesn't he was wide open. Like, he had his defender beat by 4 or 5 yards.
Did we not do almost touchdowns?
No, we didn't.
This week? What's wrong with you?
If you guys read my week 1 recap, you would know about the almost touchdowns.
I'm surprised, because generally when you write things, Adam reads it directly off the site.
Exactly.
All right, I could go through the almost touchdowns from week 1 right now. I have them in the notes. I just never read them. I'm sorry.
MVS had an almost touchdown too, didn't he?
Ian Thomas.
Well, he
Julio
had
Jones.
the interception that Rodgers threw, the second one on consecutive plays, I think, or within a few plays.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
He had the defender beat, but it wasn't going to be a touchdown. There was a defender over top.
This was my favorite. This was my favorite one, Heath. I thought you would have really liked this one. Damian Harris had an almost touchdown called back on a hold.
So he didn't actually score the touchdown, like tackled at the one, and that was called back on a hold.
Tackled, I think
at least Kenny Gainwell, his almost touchdown, he actually did score.
Yeah, that's not an almost touchdown.
Okay.
That's a touchdown callback. Damian Harris had an almost touchdown callback. Listen, we are coming really close to 37,000 followers or subscribers here. We're at 36,920. So let's get 80 more. Let's get to 37,000 today. Let's do it. Any news on Zach Moss? Good question.
Yeah. His coach talked about him at the press conference, and he was asked why Zach Moss didn't play, and he said it was a numbers thing.
And so what that meant, I think, if you watch the game, I think at least their first drive and maybe the first couple, Devin Singletary, I don't think was on the field. It was they went 5 wide for at least their entire first drive, which I think might have been a 3 and out. But I think it happened a couple other times where they were 5 wide and they were playing hurry up, and it was either Isaiah McKenzie in the backfield or Isaiah McKenzie playing out wide. And so maybe what he meant by that is that given the matchup against the Steelers, a team that has a tough defense, a team that is going to be tough to run against, having one Singletary, the better pass catcher and pass blocker in there.
Oh, you were right. You were right. You need to correct yourself.
What?
You almost said better player. That would have just
better. I mean, I think he's a better player. Actually, I think it's the Spider-Man meme. I think they're both guys, but either way. All right, maybe that's what he's meant. Is that
he going to play this week? Is he going to play this week?
Maybe.
All right. Well, I mean, and that's the thing, and we talked about it on the Sunday night show. Matt Breida played 9 special teams snaps. Matt Breida plays special teams. Isaiah McKenzie plays special teams. Zach Moss doesn't play special teams. Doesn't do anything special.
Tim Patrick or Sterling Shepard?
Sterling Shepard.
Shepard.
I have Judy on IR. Should I pick up Tim Patrick and drop Rondale Moore?
I would not.
No, I think I'd rather have Moore. Another almost touchdown.
Yeah. Does anyone else think Adam looks like Adrian Brody?
That is the nicest thing anyone's ever said about Adam.
Someone at work
star of Angels in the outfield, Adrian Brody.
Yeah, somebody said I looked like Ryan from The Office, and I did not appreciate that. But I'll take Adrian Brody.
I mean, you play a similar character
to Ryan in The Office.
Yes.
Adam's not as big of a jerk as Ryan eventually became.
Thank you. That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said about it. Dallas Goedert or Tyler Higbee, non-PPR.
So Zach Ertz, I think, was out of practice yesterday with a hamstring. Yeah, I don't see it. I mean, I can see it.
Brody. It's
definitely like you have the same phenotype, like you're part of the same kingdom, but I don't think.
Zach Ertz was back today. I think he was limited.
Okay, then
I expect him to play.
Yeah,
so Higbee. Okay. Marquez Callaway or Nelson Aguilar at flex?
I think I have Callaway. Yep.
I think I have Aguilar. Nope.
I don't think he.
Oh, Callaway. I thought there was another MVS question. Yeah, Callaway.
Oh yeah, that's definitely me. Oh yeah.
I did think it was weird that time you kissed Halle Berry at the Oscars.
Yeah. You know me. Highlight about Ryan was the hot one, according to Michael. That is true. I love when Michael grows the goatee because Ryan has one. It's one of my favorites.
It's also according to Michael. So,
hey, date Mike. All right. Are we worried about Tyson Williams getting a dud?
Oh yeah, 100% worried.
You know who else I'm a little worried about getting a dud? Elijah Mitchell. Went through the 8 games that Raheem Mostert missed last week. And
he only missed like three and a half quarters last week. He didn't miss 8 games.
Right. Felt like 8 games. The 8 games he missed last year, 7 of the 8 games, a running back scored a touchdown. So that's great. But they didn't run very well, except Jeff Wilson. They ran poorly. So just throwing that out there. It's not like you can just plug anyone in. You can't necessarily plug Jerick McKinnon or Tevin Coleman or JaMychal Hasty in there and get some great rusher. That's just what we saw. And Philadelphia's run defense is legit.
One thing I did yesterday, I looked at the player who led the 49ers in carries every week over the last 2 seasons. So not necessarily who led them in snaps, just who had the most carries every game. And last season that added up to 241 carries, 1,010 yards, 13 total touchdowns is amazing, 323 receiving yards, 15.4 PPR points per game. In 2019, when the 49ers offense was much better, the lead rusher in every game averaged like 13.7 PPR points per game and 219 carries over 16 games, which is like 13 to 14 carries, I think, per game. So I think the key thing to take away from that is just that even if he is the lead runner for the 49ers, you shouldn't expect this massive role. Like, this is a great running game, but Kyle Shanahan always distributes his carries relatively evenly.
The hardest thing to parse when looking at 49ers over the last 2 or 3 years, and it was true again week 1, and it's true of basically everyone they have on the roster. They've all been hurt so often, so many times. And even Elijah Mitchell and Trey Sermon in college both dealt with injury problems. So when you're looking at how many touches, and because one of the things I looked at was there was not much correlation between who led the team in carries one week versus the next week.
Yeah.
But so many times that was because the guy who had led the team in carries last week got hurt the next week.
Yeah. 6 different players led the 49ers in carries last season. In 2019, it was only 3.
But he did show a willingness at the beginning of the year to have more separation between the RB1 and RB2. And both at the start, and then McKinnon, even though McKinnon got hurt in one game, and so Jeff Wilson got a ton of carries after that. But he kind of went with one guy more than we had seen in the past. And look, last week he gave Elijah Mitchell 19 carries, or 15 or 19,
right.
19 and 19. 1 for Hasty. He could have given Hasty 6, So I'm so torn. I see a ton of optimism, and I guess he should just be considered like a number 2 running back week, right?
For sure. And that's the thing, is like, it's not as if we've got 24 running backs that we want to start this week. We are so excited about Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams because they face the Jaguars, and they're going to get like 45% of the carries each. We don't have any idea what to expect with James Robinson. Chase Edmonds is sharing. Devin Singletary, Spider-Man meme. Saquon Barkley, nobody wants to start. Like Josh Jacobs, do you want to trust him? He's a top 20 running back for me, but it's a little bit by default.
Well, would you start a Broncos running back or Elijah Mitchell?
I would start Mitchell.
I would start Gordon.
Okay.
But
all right, let's go a little rapid fire here to kind of catch up a bit. We're running behind. Start 2, Darrell Henderson, Damian Harris, T. Higgins, half PPR, 100-yard bonuses.
Henderson and Higgins.
Harris and Henderson.
Harris and the Hendersons.
Yeah.
Robert Tonyan or Jared Cook?
I have Cook 1 spot higher.
Can you tell me which one's going to score a touchdown?
I hope one of them scores a touchdown. Yes.
Tonyan.
And I'll take Tonyan.
Okay. But probably Cook too. Both are. Logan Thomas or Tyler Higbee, non-PPR?
Higbee.
Thomas.
Just answer that.
Adam, you got to break the ties when we say something different. That's the way that it works.
Logan Thomas or Higbee? I would go with Logan Thomas. Half pot, Mitchell or Mike Davis or Gaskin?
Mitchell.
What is half pot, half PPR?
Yeah,
I would go with Davis.
I would not go with Davis against the Bucks. Terrified. I would go with, why not Gaskin? Why is nobody on Gaskin?
Did you see what the Bills did to Najee Harris last week? He played 100% of the snaps and had like 45 yards.
Oh, Gaskin's better than Harris.
I also I
go Mitchell here.
I was not super impressed with Gaskin's usage in this one in week 1.
I was confused by it because in the first half it looked like he was the guy, and then they kind of went away from him. I go Mitchell in half. I'd go Gaskin in full. Saquon starter sit.
Sit. Hopefully sit. Yes.
Sell.
Hopefully.
You got 5.5 hours left.
Man,
buy. Are you kidding me? He gets the Falcons in week 3, coming off a long.
Then buy after tonight. Don't buy today.
Right, don't sell right now.
If
you're
might be the highest value ever
tonight,
is.
If you're saying buy after tonight, why would you say sell now?
I said if you're going to buy after tonight. I think there's a possibility. There are people right now who would still possibly trade you a second-round pick for Saquon. I don't know that possibility exists after tonight.
Then just hold him. Like, I guess if you could get, I don't know, who would it be?
Mixon?
Well, yes.
I don't think
Mixon shouldn't have been a second-round pick.
Diggs, AJ
Brown,
Hopkins.
I mean, I think he probably should have been a second-round pick. You might be right, and maybe he ends up being RB1.
What about the 4 round 2 receivers?
I would take the receivers over Barkley, but that's how I was drafting it anyway. I think. No, I took him over.
No, you were making fun of me for at least a month over second-round Saquon.
I was not making fun of you.
Teasing.
Yeah, I took him over Hopkins in a draft. I don't know if I really regret that right now because Hopkins, he's going to need more of a target share to really be awesome this year. But I think maybe people are freaking out a little bit over Saquon Barkley. Where would you draft him today?
Right around the same exact spot where I drafted him before, so early to mid-second.
I'm going to go mid-round 3, and I'll explain what the difference is. I was speculating on some things that I thought were true, and week 1 made me feel more like they are true. I mean, there was a chance this summer that Daniel Jones in his 3rd year was going to make an improvement as a quarterback. I didn't see any signs of that in week 1. There was a chance that Jason Garrett was going to evolve as a play caller. I didn't see any signs of that in week 1. There was a chance that Saquon Barkley would immediately be as good as he ever was. I certainly didn't see that in week 1.
One thing I will say is, like, he did play, 55% of the snaps in week 1?
48.
48, yeah.
It was higher in the second half then.
Maybe so. I generally think full game statistics are more predictive.
If you had thought,
statistics.
Like, did you think he was going to play 50% of the snaps in week 1?
No, I didn't say anything about the snaps he played. I was talking about
but that's what I'm asking.
Right. I didn't have any.
Yes. I thought it'd be around 50%.
Okay.
I mean, it's easy for me to say that now. I thought it would be right around about 48%. I remember thinking that.
I think you said that actually.
From what I'm reading, you shouldn't be surprised if he plays fewer snaps tonight. It's a short week. This is not going to be a good game for him.
Right. And that's what I'm
like. Fewer snaps, don't freak out because it might.
What do you think's going to happen if Saquon Barkley plays 40% of the snaps tonight and averages 2.5 yards per carry? I know it's a tough defense. I know we're all saying not to start him, and that's what you should expect. But you understand how, like, the collective hive mind of the fantasy football world acts.
Yeah.
What do you think his value will be higher next week or lower than it is right now?
Oh, much lower.
Yeah, what's going to happen is I'm going to put out trade offers for him.
Yeah, me too. But yeah, look, I think the Giants looked so inept offensively, both in the preseason and in training camp, and then in week 1, that it's possible that Barkley's ceiling just isn't nearly as high as we thought. However, they're going to face Denver and Washington in their first 2 games, and those could end up being top 5 defenses.
Right.
So keep that in mind.
I thought there were multiple times, maybe like 3 different times, where Barkley had the ball on a carry that looked like it was designed to go off tackle, and there was space outside, and he just went straight forward into the back of like he didn't look like he wanted to bounce it outside and open it up.
I didn't notice that, but I know you and Dave both agreed on that. And I think he's the kind of player that takes chances and probably has a lot of runs where you're like, oh, that wasn't so good. And then he pops one. And that's the fear. If you're sitting here playing I'm just going to buy low on Barkley, the fear is it just takes one run for him to go 70 yards. And then you're playing.
Look, we've always said the same thing about Melvin Gordon.
All right. With that, let's go. Now we're really going rapid fire. I'm talking 20 answers in the next 3 minutes. Here we go. Julio Jones or Antonio Brown?
Antonio Brown.
Maybe.
Saquon, Latavius, Gainwell, or Sermon, PPR?
Latavius, I think.
I think I actually am going to start Saquon.
Yeah, I would go with Saquon. Yeah.
Barkley, I don't know. I don't really get it.
All of those guys should start over Barkley.
There you go. That works.
Yes.
Tyler Boyd, Javonte Williams, or Corey Davis?
Corey Davis for me.
I think I go Javonte.
Trade Eckler for Devontae Adams? Then on running back.
Yeah.
If you're thin on running back, you should not trade Eckler for Devontae Adams.
Okay. Debo Samuel, Kareem Hunt, Jacoby Myers, Will Fuller, Tyson. Okay, pick one. Debo, Kareem Hunt, Myers, Fuller, Tyson Williams. Tyson. Debo.
Hunt.
I was not answering. I was correcting my pronunciation. Debo and Heath says Hunt. Okay.
Actually, Hunt. Sorry.
Okay, there we go. What are the odds Brown finishes as the top scoring receiver on the Bucs?
29%.
31%.
30%. I need 2 wide receivers: Robert Woods, Justin Jefferson, Ridley, and Cooper.
Oh my God. I think you're sitting Robert Woods.
Yep.
And
which is a top 15 wide receiver.
He needs 2 wide receivers and a flex.
oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so Woods, Stafford or Lamar or Herbert?
Herbert.
Oh yeah. Stafford over Herbert.
Pick 2: Barkley, Gordon, Cooks.
You said Stafford over Herbert?
Sorry, what was the question?
Herbert, Lamar, and Stafford. Pick one.
I thought, okay, I'm confused.
It was, would you start Stafford over Lamar Jackson or Justin Herbert?
Oh,
Or,
I'm sorry.
Okay, no, I would go Herbert over Stafford.
Right. I would not start Stafford over either of them. I'm getting closer on Lamar because everyone's hurt.
Nah.
Marquise Brown isn't even practicing today.
That's fine.
He doesn't have Ronnie
No, he does
Stanley?
actually have an ankle injury, which is a new injury, which is concerning.
If Marquise Brown and Ronnie Stanley are both out, then Lamar will not be a top 12 quarterback for me.
Oh, overreaction.
I understand how I love Lamar Jackson. He's my number 2 quarterback before the season.
Clearly you don't.
He does not have anything besides Mark Andrews.
He has his leading receiver from last.
Sammy Watkins.
Yeah,
as long as they can convince him it's still week 1.
If Marquise Brown is out, then Sammy. Okay, listen. If Marquise Brown is out, Heath, Sammy Watkins is going to outscore Allen Robinson, and I want full credit for
That's
this.
ridiculous. Allen Robinson's going to be the number 1 wide receiver this week.
If Marquise Brown is out, then Sammy Watkins is going to get L'Jarius Sneed. I don't think he'll do anything.
They're going to shadow Sammy Watkins.
Did you see the stat that Sammy Watkins has 3 games with over 65 yards over the last 3 seasons, and they've all been week 1?
That's pretty interesting. All right, here we go. Choose 2. We did that one, right? Did we do this one? I don't know if we answered it. Saquon, Melvin Gordon, and Cooks.
No, we didn't do this one.
Sit Barkley, right?
Man, I hate Brandon Cooks this week. I really hate Brandon Cooks this week.
Yeah, I think I might. No, I
definitely Melvin.
I think I would sit Saquon.
I would probably half PPR. I'd probably sit Cooks.
Lost in the offensive outburst for the Texans. The Jaguars had the highest pressure rate in the NFL last week. So I don't know if that means the Jaguars have a great D-line or the Houston Texans have a terrible one.
I think we do know what that means. I'm pretty sure it's not that the Jaguars have a great D-line.
Jacoby Myers or Laviska Shenault? PPR.
I have Jacoby Myers a little higher.
I was going to say they're kind of the same guy, but Myers gets targeted way more downfield. I'll take Myers.
Okay. I lost Mostert. Mitchell went for 61. I'm stuck with Singletary as my RB2. I traded Tyreek Hill for Damian Harris and Chris Godwin. I still have Allen Robinson and Keenan Allen. It's a non-PPR league. What are your thoughts? Giving up Tyreek Hill for Damian Harris and Chris Godwin.
I think it's a D. I don't like it. I think it's a panic.
Yeah, Damian Harris is a lot better than non-PPR, but Tyreek Hill
is also.
Good grief.
I just this text is huge.
Home Improvement. You're Wilson.
Oh yeah. Hey, how's it going, Tim?
Now you do kind of look like an actor.
Thank you. Pick a running back and a flex. Chase Edmonds. This is non-PPR. Chase Edmonds, Kareem Hunt, Melvin Gordon. I pick one of them.
Hunt.
And Claypool, Jamar Chase, or Sterling Shepard. Or another one of the running backs. I'm sorry.
I'm going with Gordon because it's non-PPR.
Yeah.
All right. I think I might go Claypool there.
If I was going to go with a wide receiver, it'd probably be Chase.
For sure. Yeah.
Chase Claypool.
Yeah. Claypool's
Chase Claypool, yes. Jamar Chase. No, Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
Claypool was no more involved than he was last year. It looked like a pretty clear 1, 2, 3.
That offense still looked really gross. I know it's the Bills and they've got a good defensive line, but man.
I didn't think it was the right matchup for Claypool. It's just what the Bills do. The Bills are like the worst team that Claypool could play. So I'm not ignoring the fact that he was third in the hierarchy, but I do think there will be more big plays available for him against the non-Bills. Hopefully, anyway. I traded Jarvis Landry for Matthew Stafford, and he has Ryan Tannehill. What do you think?
B+.
Yeah.
Is that a B or a D+?
B.
It's
as in boy.
I'll give it a C+. I don't know why you need Matt Stafford. Like I understand. I would start Stafford over Tannehill this week, but
if Beckham, I don't know what the heck's going to happen with Beckham. Obviously, he's going to come back at some point, but whenever he's out, I feel pretty good about Landry.
Well, you feel pretty good about Landry as a number 3 wide receiver, right? Beckham didn't play very much last year,
and Landry was good. He was solid when Beckham. He had a nice floor. Like I said, 5 catches in every game. You're right. It's number 3, but it's like kind of close to number 2.
Well, Beckham left week 6. Is that right?
Look, you have to be willing to forget about the weather games.
Oh, you've got to really azer this one up.
If you're willing to forget about the weather games, he had 5 catches in every game. He had 5 catches last week.
But that's only generally 10 PPR points for Jarvis Landry.
That's a minimum of 5 catches. He was on a pace of over 100 catches.
So, yeah, it's really tough with the weather games. That was what, 3 games in a row, right?
Yes.
I thought it was 2 games.
No, it was 3. 3 crappy weather games, just pouring down on the Cleveland Browns.
So yeah, his last 5 games of the season plus the playoffs were really awesome. He had 46 catches in his last 7 games, including the playoffs, with I don't know, like 500 yards.
Yeah, so but so many of the yards came in one game. But so it is the catches that I care about. But he's going to lead the team in receiving. It's going to be valuable. Brosum, how worried should Najee Harris managers be if he puts up another 5 points?
Not at all.
Yeah, very.
Not at all. Not even a little bit.
If he does it again against the Raiders?
If he's playing every single snap again and he's running every single route, I just can't be like usage matters. That's the biggest thing for me.
If he's not getting touches
in your point per snap leagues for sure, and definitely in your point per route run leagues. But I do think like what Chris is saying is generally right. The thing that I would say, the reason if he scores 5 points again, that probably means that he had 1 catch again. And the one thing I was worried about with the Steelers offense was that they threw to running backs at the lowest rate in the NFL last year.
Sure.
Because they have wide receivers they target at the line of scrimmage. They throw to the wide receivers in the place where most teams throw to the running back.
Yeah, and in this one, so he had 16 carries and 3 targets. You want more than 3 targets. But one thing that did happen in this game that I don't know if will happen moving forward, but they kind of abandoned their usual game plan in the second half and basically just went to like a full RPO offense, especially like the fourth quarter, but also a little bit in the third quarter. It was mostly an RPO based offense is not going to lead to targets for a running back, but I would guess they're not going to do that every week.
Yeah.
I hope.
If you give Ben Roethlisberger the RPO, he's going to pee a lot. Right? Thank you, Chris.
Well done.
Thank you. Let's see.
That was one of your best lines, like in
Really?
7 years of working with you.
Great, good stuff. Thoughts on Javonte, Singletary, or Sermon as an RB2 this week?
In PPR, I would go with Javonte. Actually, I have Singletary a little higher.
I have Javonte just over Singletary. This is one of those situations where I do have Singletary projected higher, but I think there's more upside for Javonte against Jacksonville, so I've got him ranked higher.
Look at that logo. You know, everybody knows I'm an Eagles fan this year. So,
Best team in the NFC least.
They are starting to look that way. All right, you can stop asking your trade Jarvis Landry for Matt Stafford question. Answered that one. What? Do I drop Jalen Reagor for Zach Pascal?
No.
I don't think so. I don't.
What's the point?
Yeah, don't do it. No. All right, here we go. Can Heath and Chris rock, paper, scissors for Eli Mitchell or Melvin Gordon as the better start?
Do we disagree on that one?
We both said Mitchell, right?
Yeah, but
No,
I think
we both said Gordon.
I said Mitchell.
Oh,
I said
all right.
Gordon.
See, here we go. All right, so we're gonna do rock, paper, scissors.
Wait, no, I'll pull a Heath, Mitchell, and non-PPR.
How are we gonna do this? I want to see this happen. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Right?
Get your hand up above the table.
Okay.
Who you want me to do it, or you guys want to do it?
Yeah, I think Adam has to do it. Yeah.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Paper. All right. Ready? 1, 2. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Hey, he wins. Yeah. All right. My favorite thing on the live streams. By the way, keep subscribing. Let's get to, what was it, 37,000? Let's get there. What are the odds? Oh, we read that.
31%.
30%.
29%.
We're getting closer. Full PPR, Damian Harris or James Robinson, scared of the Belichick doghouse.
I'm more scared of Carlos Hyde.
I have James Robinson higher.
Harris for me. He caught 2 passes.
He did.
He did. That was like 30% of what I thought his season total would be.
Ooh, look at that. We're getting closer to the subscriber goal. Let's
do it.
Saquon,
what do they get if we get it?
Did we answer this one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
What are you giving away, Adam, if we hit the goal?
Ooh,
Weren't you gonna do something?
I don't know. Jamie will put you in the podcast league. Does that with everyone.
All 37,000 people?
Yeah, it's a big league. Full PPR.
Take that, Scott Fish.
Pick 2. Jacobs and Drake. Jacobs or Drake. Jamal Williams. Sterling Shepard. Laviska Shenault.
Jamal Williams and Sterling Shepard.
I think that's fine.
Unless Jacobs is out. If Jacobs is out, I think I'm going.
Yes, I agree. Jacobs is out. I go Drake.
If Jacobs got ruled out before tonight's game, I would start Drake, but that's not going to happen. So,
well, is there that big of a difference between Shepard and Shenault to you?
Yeah, for me there is.
But you could. I would say if Jacobs gets ruled out, then I would start Drake over Jamal Williams.
But you'd start Jamal Williams over Sterling Shepard.
I would.
Yeah,
So
that's the rub. I think the Lions running backs are the hardest for me this week to evaluate because last week was so stupid. We just didn't really learn all that much because they did so much production against bad.
The Lions games are going to be stupid most often.
Yeah, but the 49ers pulled their starters. I mean, they were awful before that happened. Swift had the touchdown on the screen pass, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Williams had a 35% snap share.
Right. And he had 8 catches or something like that?
Yeah, he had 8 catches on like 7.
On what?
17 routes.
But I don't think, like, I know the team was awful and they had not scored any points. I think they were both on a pretty good target and yards pace before the pulling of the starters.
They could have been.
When do we want to just do first half?
No, it was kind of late in the third quarter. I think it was when Verrett got hurt towards ACL. And then they kind of went wild in the fourth quarter, as I recall.
Yeah, because Williams had 3 targets, 6 carries in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to get 3 targets.
Carries, 6 targets. That's pretty great.
Yeah, he'll be worth starting. Okay, Mike Williams or Jamal Williams, PPR. He won't be worth starting over Mike Williams, most likely.
I'll take Mike.
Yeah, Mike Williams.
Antonio Brown or Julio Jones? Dragger, weren't we going to do a poll on that?
I have Brown 1 spot higher.
Let's do it right now.
Heath, I think it's Julio 1 spot higher.
I think Antonio's going to crush this poll.
Oh, wait, Heath, do you have Brown or Julio 1 spot higher? I think you both have them back-to-back in your rankings.
I think I moved, I have Antonio Brown projected over Julio Jones, and I think I moved Julio 1 spot ahead of Brown in the rankings just because I felt like my projections had Julio too low based on 1 week. I'm really scared. Like most of the teams that were terrible that we thought were going to be good in week 1, I just kind of giving them a free pass. And if they are bad again in week 2, but Tennessee could not block anybody.
No.
And Julio made multiple mistakes.
Yeah, one thing I would say is like on the list of things that matter from week 1 projecting forward, a wide receiver having a bad game but playing like his expected role is probably not particularly high on that list, right? Like it could just be that Julio Jones just doesn't fit in the system. Him and Ryan Tannehill aren't on the same page because he missed so much practice and training camp, all those things. But the likelier explanation is just like if he catches 1 extra longer pass, the game looks a lot better. You know?
Apparently, Julio Jones had an almost touchdown. I don't remember it, but it's in my notes.
He dropped a touchdown, for sure. Which, I don't know that we count Julio Jones almost touchdowns. He's had a lot of them, and I wouldn't say that he didn't necessarily I guess it's because they only ran 50 snaps, or he only played 50 snaps, but he only had 6 targets. Like if Julio's getting 6 targets a week, I'm not going to consider him a must-start wide receiver.
Antonio Brown is crushing it in this. Oh, why did we put C results on there? That's so ridiculous.
Well done, Schrager. A professional
vote.
What?
Antonio Brown has 74%.
So here's the thing. If you don't have a strong opinion about it, or you don't really know, and you still want to see the results, it's better for the integrity of the poll that they click see results than pick a different name.
No, but if you're a fantasy manager, you still have to make that decision. So the poll makes you make that decision. You can't start see results and just it's not a best ball option here. You got to make a decision.
What if I didn't have Julio Jones or Antonio Brown on any of my teams? So I don't know who I'm starting.
But you're trying to figure out which one to trade for.
So
the almost touchdown, I don't know if that was a drop. Are we talking about the first one? First target he got?
I have no idea.
I just remember the ball hitting both of his hands in the end zone.
Yeah, it got broken up, I think.
All right, Chris Carson or Antonio Gibson?
Oh, Gibson.
Yes.
Gibson's going to smash the Giants.
Why do you think that?
Because I gave him 23 touches in a game they were playing from behind most of the time. Now they've got Taylor Heineke at quarterback.
Yeah.
Well,
you think they're going to lose?
What?
You think they're going to lose?
No.
Exactly.
No.
Right. Tyler Boyd, Javonte Williams, or Corey Davis, PPR?
Corey Davis for me.
Javonte.
Myers or LaVisca?
We did that
Myers.
one. Myers still.
I have Myers soap. You guys have Myers soap?
Nope.
I do like Myers soap. Their hand soap is great.
You do, Schrager? Is that?
Yes.
Yeah. Heath, I think almost 80% of America uses Myers soap.
Okay, maybe I do. We have different containers for our soap that my wife, for some reason, buys soap and then pours the soap into different containers. So I don't actually know where the soap is from.
Tyson Williams or James White or Gaskin. That's the first one.
In PPR, I have Gaskin. If that's
I'm going Gaskin, yeah.
Yeah.
Adam had a great stat on the podcast this morning about James White in wins and how little he's targeted and how little he was targeted early in that game against the Dolphins. So I'm a little bit concerned about James White this week.
Okay, so Heath had the win stat, which he never actually gave. He never actually gave the stat.
I thought, well, you know why?
Yeah.
Because I wasn't listening to you at all and knew you were talking about James White. And then I was looking at his game logs and I discovered it. And then I thought, well, that's probably what Adam was just saying. So I didn't want to say it again.
What I said was that he had, what did he have? 7 targets and 5 of them came in the second half, something like that. And 3 of them came in the fourth quarter. But I'm not personally going to look at last year because I just think life with Cam Newton and life with Mac Jones are going to be very different for James White.
But he was targeted pretty heavy on losses last year.
Yeah. He also was targeted heavily when Jacoby Myers was not involved in the first 3 games of the year. But I did kind of get less excited about him when we talked about him on the show today. I'm not excited about James White, but more nervous, I guess.
He was at 5 targets per game in their 8 losses. He was at 3.6 in their 6 wins.
Yeah. Tariq Cohen used to have very similar splits too. Derek says James Robinson, Jared Cook, Waddle, Mooney, and that's it. PPR. Robinson, Cook, Waddle, and Mooney.
Robinson if Fuller plays, Waddle if he doesn't.
Okay. Kareem Hunt or Eli Mitchell?
Mitchell for me. Did we lose Chris?
No, he's just
no. I'm trying to look that stat up now.
James White?
Yeah.
I just gave it.
I wasn't listening.
Nobody listens when we talk about James White.
I was doing the same thing Heath was during the show.
Mike Davis, Jalen Waddle, or Rondale Moore, PPR?
I'm scared of Mike Davis, but I am going to trust the process and the touches that he got, and I'm going to start him.
Yeah.
I am going to be fascinated to see what the Falcons' pass rate is this week against Tampa Bay, because he behaved as if he still had Derrick Henry last week, or at least as if he was still coaching the Titans.
James White has averaged 9.95 PPR points per game in wins since the 2019 season.
I mean, I'll take that. I think that's going to be better than Barkley. That's my big decision is the two of them. I'm a big Jose Martinez fan. He's a great listener, viewer. He's a great guy.
Crushes lefties.
He's asked this question. He does crush lefties. He's asked this question. Isn't this the same? He's got it in the chat like 15 times. So we're just gonna answer it and move on. Yes, you did a great job getting Saquon Barkley for Tyson Williams. Try not to pepper the chat with the same question.
I think it's 12.2 points per game in losses. That's a gap, but
that's the difference between
it's probably the opposite for most running backs, I would guess.
Right, except for the Lions.
With Terry McLaurin on a short week, who from Antonio Brown, Deontay Johnson, and Mike Williams would you put ahead of him in a 0.75 PPR?
I don't have 0.75 PPR rankings, but in full PPR, I do have Deontay and Brown ahead of him.
I would start Deontay and Williams.
Okay. Who wins this trade? Saquon Barkley for Mike Davis and Antonio Brown.
I think the Saquon side wins.
Yeah, we don't know, but I would I have 0 Saquon Barkley and I've made 0 offers for him. I would trade Mike Davis and AB, and I do probably have some teams with Mike Davis and AB. I would trade those 2 for Saquon.
Yeah. Can we get 30 more subscribers here, please?
29.
Well, let's get 30. Let's leave no doubt. I
remember when Chris, I think it was like the first year I was at CBS, and Chris crossed over the 20,000 barrier, and it was back when we still talked about how many followers we had on Twitter, and we were excited about it.
Yeah,
and I mean, look, not all of us have as many Twitter followers as you guys that we can just I don't even care anymore.
Talking to Jamie or talking to me and Heath?
I sat there at my desk. I know it must have been baseball season. I wasn't quite as busy at that time, and just waited. First, I think I tweeted out and said, "Let's get Chris to 20,000 followers." And I just waited for him to get to the 20,000 mark, and then I unfolled him.
I think I might have blocked you on Twitter as a result of that.
That's awesome. Is there a way to track your Twitter followers by day, like the date? Because I've basically been at the same number for the last 3 years. I have completely plateaued. I've maxed out.
Adam, I'll look at your analytics for you.
Yeah.
All I need your password. Just share your password with everyone here, and we'll be good.
Okay. It's all right. So Jamal Williams or Saquon Barkley?
Kane 3.
Big Kane 3. Jamal Williams or Saquon? Half PPR.
Saquon.
Tyson or Gainwell?
Tyson.
We're so close, by the way, to 37,000. So
I can feel it.
Tunyon or Everett?
Tunyon.
I may have nope, Tunyon.
I think Will Dissly might be better than Everett.
Rager, Marquise Brown, or Pascal?
I mean, Brown he plays on Sunday night. It's kind of Pascal's wager, right?
What about Pascal's dog? Is that close enough? Can we do that? Like Pavlov? Yeah, Pavlov's dog.
No, Pascal's wager's a thing, though.
I know.
You don't have to do it. You don't have to do a pun when Pascal's wager's already.
I already asked what is.
Adam doesn't have the academic Rager to know that.
All right, last football season, week 1, I had 50,000 followers. Now I have 52.8.
Congratulations.
That's not very. I need better growth than that. I need better growth.
It's because we're not on that rankings page. That's really where all the followers come from.
Actually, last football season, Adam was up 4.2%. Heath 4.1%.
Hey,
I have totally stalled out, and I just don't.
I've stalled out at a much lower level, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Well, nobody goes on Twitter anymore. It's kind of irrelevant.
Right.
So, Trevor Lawrence or Ryan Tannehill?
Tannehill.
Yeah, for sure.
Flex and a receiver: McLaurin, Hunt, Mike Williams.
I'll sit.
McLaurin and Hunt. I would sit Williams.
I'm going to sit McLaurin.
So, Heath, if we get 8 more subscribers to the channel, are you going to unsubscribe?
Heath, are you subscribed?
Yeah, of course. Of course I am.
Let's go. We can get some we got 8 more. 8 more. Whoever's 37,000 gets a
You can get an individually wrapped caramel. I'll send it your way.
a caramel.
It's a no, Adam, these are amazing. They're sea salt caramels. They're so good.
Delicious.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Are they like, is that saltwater taffy? Is that the same thing?
No, it's caramel.
Yeah,
with
I guess
sea salt on it.
Different. Yeah. Yeah, those are different. Should I be worried about starting McLaurin? Well, it looks like saltwater taffy. You got to give me that.
Well, yeah, you should definitely be worried. Of course.
That is very good hair.
Terry McLaurin has never played with a good quarterback. So I don't know if we should be that worried about him playing with Taylor Heineke.
Did he have some good games against the Giants last year or against good corners?
He had 2 good games against the Giants.
Good. I'm not that worried about him. I just have Mike Williams my top 20 receivers.
Hey, huzzah!
Excellent. How many days, maybe hours, until we have more YouTube subscribers than Adam has Twitter followers?
I would be all for that. Because now, as I say that out loud, I feel like people are going to unfollow me to get to that goal. So I'm not all for that possibility.
There's not that many people watching the stream, Adam. You're fine.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people. Thank you, everyone who tuned in.
Not enough.
But not enough to impact Adam's ego.
Would you trade Debo for James Robinson?
No.
The agony.
The answer should be yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But Urban Meyer.
Yep.
And for that matter, Kyle Shanahan. Like, we answered what's the odds that Antonio Brown leads the Bucs in fantasy points, wide receivers in fantasy points. What are the odds that Brandon Ayuk leads the 49ers wide receivers in fantasy points in week 2? Like 45%?
No. I'd say like 30. Because you still got a chance that Richie James or someone catches a long touchdown. Is he still on the 49ers? I think he is.
Okay, what are the chances that Brandon Ayuk outscores Deebo Samuel this week?
Yeah, that's probably like 45-ish, 40%.
Anyone want to buy some health insurance?
I used to sell health insurance.
What didn't you sell, Heath?
I sold pretty much everything. Now I sell fantasy advice.
T. Higgins or Juju?
Juju.
I think I have Higgins higher.
I know Heath's going Higbee here, so we'll just...
What?
Nah, Mark Andrews. Stick with Mark Andrews. Cooks, Chase Edmonds, Gaskin, half PPR. Pick 2.
Running backs.
Yeah, that's fine.
Ooh, sirens. Mitchell or James Robinson?
Mitchell.
Oh, I have Robinson higher in PPR.
Okay, yeah, don't sound so upset. Would you give up Waller for AJ Brown and Logan Thomas?
No. Well,
Yes, I would.
I read that as Antonio Brown. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd do that. Yeah. Debo or Claypool?
Debo.
For this week, Debo.
Sterling
maybe for the
Shepard
rest of the
or Robbie Anderson? Mr. Anderson.
Shepard.
I have Shepard ranked lower. Nope. Higher. Why is it so hard to find?
In the
Robbie
middle.
Anderson? Oh, no, I have Robbie Anderson one spot higher.
Yeah, I'm very surprised. You just don't like Robbie Anderson this week, Heath?
He had 3 targets last week.
It was one game.
Terrace Marshall had twice as many targets as Robbie Anderson.
So should we drop Robbie Anderson?
No, I did not say that. But I don't want to start. I do not, and I'm hoping that Chris is immediately going to pull someone out of thin air. But I do not believe there are any wide receivers who had 3 or fewer targets last week, and 2 other receivers had 6 or more that I would start.
Yeah, I don't think that we're gonna find one.
I mean, who were the good wide receivers that had 3 targets last week?
Did Tyler Boyd had 5, right?
And I'm not starting him either. But
how many points will Adam lose to me by in the podcast league this week? I don't think so, man. You can bully a lot of my teams. I'm not so sure about that one.
16.
No. Are you looking at the projections or something?
No, that just feels like a good number. Look at his guns.
Are you starting Michael Pittman?
No. So Chris, you look at the screen. I need to see Spencer again. Spencer versus Adam at virtually any athletic contest.
Yeah, Spencer. I'm not sure which one I would take Adam in.
How many times could Spencer deadlift Adam?
The problem is he's leaning forward at an angle, so the perception is his upper body's much larger than his lower body. So I don't know what his core and lower body strength
That's
are.
true. He does look like Spencer may have skipped a few leg days.
But I would say 10.
10. Yeah. I remember
deadlift like the over the shoulder. I don't work out, so I don't know.
No, I think that's where you pick somebody up off the ground and then put them back down.
Yeah, at least 10. I mean, Adam's gonna have to have straps on him,
right,
for it to work. But I think, yeah,
I think he's wearing shoulder pads. I don't buy that he's really that buff. It's his face.
Flesh-colored shoulder pads.
All right, pick one: Brian Edwards or Marquez Callaway or Saquon Barkley.
Saquon.
AJ Dillon and Tony Jones for Trey Sermon in Dynasty.
No, I would rather have Dillon than Sermon.
Yeah, they're really close. I would not give up something extra to get Sermon.
Yeah.
Juju, Corey Davis, Chase.
Juju for me.
I have it ranked Corey Davis, Chase, and Juju.
Helpful.
Fournette, Rojo, or Singletary.
Singletary.
Singletary. Don't get these Bucks backs out of here.
Try not.
First Bucks running backs question we've gotten. Am I the only believer in? I don't know what that is.
Question mark over exclamation point.
Yeah. Thank you. Did we read this one? Debo, Brandon Cooks, Jarvis Landry, or Chase Edmonds, PPR?
I think I would have Debo ranked highest.
Me too.
Feels like an
Lockett or Miles Sanders?
Oh, Lockett.
Lock it up.
Heath, you remember the Lockett stat, right? I just tweeted it an hour ago.
No.
He has had 10 games in his career now. Well, now 11. 10 previous games with 100 yards. He's had more than 55 yards the following week once. He scored double-digit PPR fantasy points 3 times in the first 10 times of his career where he's had 100 yards.
So here's the question. Do you think that actually matters?
No, but I think it's really fun.
It's fun. I would be curious because Dave and I had quite a bit debate about Brandon Cooks, and it was ironic because Dave like Lockett, has complained about Brandon Cook's sporadic play in the past. And I would be curious what Brandon Cook's number like that is. So that's really, really interesting. And I am going to move Lockett absolutely nowhere in my rankings.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where it's like you start to think like, well, is there a mechanic behind it?
I mean, it's just emblematic of his career.
Yeah, sure.
He's very inconsistent, boomer bust kind of player. But he has, I don't know. It's just wild. All right. If only he had, like I said, if only he had 99 yards last.
Yeah,
week.
what did he end up with, like 104? He could have
I
just
think he had exactly 100.
Oh man,
so
just
completely
fall down
himself for week 2. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. We've got another live stream at 11:30 a.m. on Sunday morning, obviously Eastern time, right up until kickoff. We also have CBS Sports HQ that you can watch from 10 a.m. until kickoff. So thanks for being with us on this Thursday afternoon. Looking forward to all of the Daniel Jones mean tweets tonight. Go Giants. Have a good one.